Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Usually you'll see like big upbeat vlogs, adventures that I'd go on, but this vlog is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. It's something that I want to get out to people and try and talk about my experience over this past 9 to 10 months, and they've been really hard, especially in January. If you guys hadn't known, I put a video up, a memorial video for my dad, as I lost him in January, and this is how it happened and how I found out, and the stuff leading up to his death. So it began mainly around Christmas. I saw him, like, not doing much. He wasn't being like boring or anything like that. He was just sleeping a lot. He wasn't eating properly, and just wasn't himself, and he didn't want to communicate to anybody about anything. He stayed in the house a lot, and I think it kind of affected in a way his mental health in some ways, but in some ways not. It started just after we found out about a different death, to someone who we were close to, and he had these thoughts that he said at this person's funeral, like, will I be the next to go? And it just really put things in motion, because we didn't know that those words that he had said were true. So on the 20th of this January, he had said to me, look Paige, I want you to spend your 16th birthday with me. You're going to take the day off school, and I was happy about it. I mean, yeah, it was my 16th birthday and I was really happy. I get to spend it with my dad. It's one of my big birthdays, my sweet 16, so I was happy, but I didn't know that'd be the proper time I'd have that time with him. And something wasn't quite right then either. I could see he was stopping a lot. He wasn't looking like himself. He looked fragile, and I didn't see any of the signs of what I could have. I was oblivious. So as time went on, he started getting a whole lot worse, and he was saying to me that he was having fainting spells, like he felt like he was going to faint. He'd said to other people that he was having chest pains and he was feeling numb, and getting constant headaches, and these were all signs to leading up to a heart attack. And so on the 26th of January, it was a normal day, and I didn't expect to hear the news of what I heard. So I went to school like a normal person. I got up, got dressed, I said bye to my dad, but I didn't think that'd be the last time I'd ever say that to him. And I went to school, and I was in a science class. I think I was about in my third period lesson, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from my sister, and she said, look, Dad's in a bad way. He's going to hospital. I don't know what I can tell you. He's apparently had a heart attack. And I just fell in the corridor. I was shocked, and I didn't know what to do. And So she said, look, your cousin's gonna come pick you up. We need you to be at the house. And it felt like none of it were real. It felt like people were just, you know, playing a prank on me. And then after that, I got out of school and I got took by my cousin to my house, and my sister would tell me, can you get his medication? Do you know where it is? We need to see what type of medication he's on to help him. And he was on so many medications for things for his heart, his legs, and you know, I wasn't really looking at it in the way that I should have. I just put all the medications that he had in his bag, and they went to the hospital. And then I rang my friend and I said to her the situation and that he was in hospital because he had a suspected heart attack. They don't know what's happened to him. And she went, look, everything's going to be okay, he'll be fine. She was trying to reassure me, but in the back of my mind I knew that he was gone. I didn't know how to process it. My mind was everywhere. I was trying to think, what if I noticed the signs? What if I did this to help him? I was blaming myself, but I didn't know if he had died. My auntie come pick me up from my house and took me to my other cousins, and we got outside her house in the car, and my auntie gets a phone call, and that's when I heard her say, oh, he hasn't died, has he? And I just knew he'd gone. And I just didn't know what to do. My mind had gone so blank. I wasn't thinking straight. I just wanted to go see him. So my auntie sat me down and said, look, he has gone. He had something called a myocardial aspiration, which means that the heart wasn't having enough oxygenated blood going to his system, and parts of his heart started to die. That's what caused him to die. He had a very serious heart attack. I got told that I could go and see him, and I went, yeah, take me there, I need to see him. And we got to the hospital, and that's when things started to feel real. And I said to the nurse, I'm here to see my dad, he's just died. And they took me to the room, and we couldn't see him for about an hour. My sister just looked at me, and she just tried comforting me. But nothing was helping me. My cousin had to step out of the room because he was crying. Everyone was just so upset. When they said, you just can go and see him, I didn't want to at first because I didn't want to see him. I like that. I didn't want to see him in such a bad way. When I eventually had the courage to go into the room, and I sat down next to him, and I couldn't touch him. I couldn't. I knew he wasn't there. My dad wasn't there anymore. He was just his body. He was lifeless. When I saw him, he had all tubes down his throat. He looked lifeless and pale. I just didn't recognise him anymore. He just didn't look like my dad anymore. He was gone. And then those thoughts was back in, I was saying, I was thinking, what if I could have done more to help him? What if I could have seen the signs early enough? What if I had just thought to ring an ambulance that morning for him and maybe could have prevented it? It just felt like it was not real, and then I was just sat there on my own with him. No one would go in. They were that upset about him, they couldn't see him. I was the only person in that room, and I sat by him and I eventually held his hand and I said, I told him I wanted him to come back. I wasn't ready to let go of him. And that's when I knew it was real. The doctor said the doctor walked in and they said it's time to say your final goodbye before we take him up to the mortuary. So my sister held his hand and gave him a kiss on the head, and I felt like I couldn't do anything. My body had just froze. And I eventually had the courage to do it. I kissed him on his head and he went. They took him to the mortuary and I couldn't see him until just before the funeral. And I was just shocked. I was in so much pain and so much hurt because I didn't believe that he was gone. There were so many times I would just sit on my bed and just think, please come back. And then it started to feel even more real after they said that we needed to start moving stuff out of his house. And so we started packing up things and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't just start packing stuff up like nothing had happened. I couldn't imagine what anyone else would have gone through, especially at a young age. Losing a parent at such a young age, I couldn't imagine it. And then it happened to me. So if you have parents out there that passed away over the years, that's when you've been at such a young age, I know exactly how you feel. It's a tough experience to go through, and I just don't know how people could cope with it, because I haven't coped with it the best. I eventually ended up kicking off with my sister and things wasn't going well, and things got way out of hand, and eventually I left. I ended up smoking and starting to drink. I just wanted all the pain to go away and it wasn't working, and it started affecting my mental health and it started going a whole lot worse. And it's been a really bad experience for me this year, so I know exactly how people that have lost parents at a young age feel. Because my dad died. And I don't know how to put it into words how I feel. I just feel empty and I just feel numb. I feel like there's no happiness there anymore. I just don't know if I'll ever be able to get over it. Thank you guys for watching.